Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to another edition of Thrylos 7 International. I, of course, am Kostas Llanos, or Kostas with a K, as some people like to call me, and it seems like I'm going to be soloing tonight's show, tonight's podcast show. Unfortunately, my co-hosts Aris Bouloubasis, Kostas Levogiannis, Dimitris Quimtsidis, Martial Debo, Labros Sirmos could not join me. But you know what, guys? I think I'm gonna have a great time hanging out with you, our amazing fans. I would like to take this moment and thank you all for voting for us in the upcoming Football Content Awards taking place at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium next month on November. In November, very very much looking forward to that. I'm going to be there, and so will Aris and Costas with a C. We're all going to be there representing 307 International. We have no idea if we've won or if we came close, but we want to thank you all for your support from the bottom of our hearts. You are what makes this podcast tick. And to any newcomers, if you haven't done so, please do like and subscribe. Let's keep spreading the word as Olympiacos' number one English source and international source for all news that have to do with Olympiacos. And if you haven't done so already, please do support us on Patreon. You'll find the link below in the description. Some amazing perks over there, exclusive interviews, priority to watch all of our exclusive interviews with players, with coaches, with members of the board as well. We had Kostas Karapapas coming in. We've had legends like Per Zetterberg, Ze Elias, Jose Jolevas, Omar El Abdelawi, and there's going to be so many more coming. So watch this space. A lot of you have joined us tonight. Achilleas Beos, thank you so much for joining us. Who cares about waking up at 7 a.m.? The real Prezis is here, baby. Well, that's what I'm talking about. You know, Achilleas Beos here, not the Achilleas Beos, by the way. At least I hope so. One of our OG supporters in this podcast. Thank you so much for your continuous support, Achillea. Ben De Rosia, T7I After Dark. Well, you tell me, man. I just finished a 16-hour shift at work. I covered Panathinaikos versus Chelsea. Boo. I also covered Fenerbahce versus Manchester United. Mourinho made headlines again for anyone who doesn't know. He got sent off for protesting. I can't believe it, right? Believe it or not. I think I've said it before in this podcast. I definitely said it in the Patreon group. If you haven't done so already, do join us. You can join us for just $1 a month. You can join our Patreon WhatsApp group, which has a life of its own, and it has a lot of great takes in there. You can get to join us and ask us any questions you like, and we're going to tell you everything we cannot say on this show about anything or everything. I said it on the Patreon group, guys. There's two managers Olympiacos are going to have in the future when Jose Luis Mendilibar leaves. One of them is Razvan Lutsescu, and the other one is Jose Mourinho. As long as Vangelis Marinakis is in charge of Olympiacos, Jose Mourinho will become Olympiacos manager at some point. Not next year, not the year after that, probably not even in 5 years' time, but it's coming. It's coming. Yorgo Botsi, good afternoon. Where are you watching us from? Because it's certainly not afternoon in Greece right now. It's a lot of people say good morning at this time of day, but thank you for joining us, Yorgo. Good evening. Actually, he's fixing that. He's fixing that over there. Almost paying tribute to one of our favorite victims in Unai Emery, who's doing great in the Champions League. Aston Villa on their way to finishing in the top 8 of the Champions League. The team that Olympiacos eliminated in the semifinals of the Conference League last season, on course of finishing in the top 8 and probably even finishing top. Who knows? Achilleas again. Ortega off for about 3 to 4, according to Mendy, 3 to 4 weeks. Well, and Lorenzo Pirola also got injured, but we'll get to that. We'll get to all of it now. And Ben getting back. We need to sign a left back in January. Well, anyway, guys, like I'll be honest with you, like I'm exhausted, and so are you, which is why I'm so grateful that you guys are joining me at this hour. So there's not gonna be a lot of structure in this because I'm just, I cannot wait till the time to go to bed. I didn't even have any dinner. It was 16 hours just nonstop, nonstop. Rollface, another OG, is joining us, just like Ben De Rossi as well as an OG. Rollface, on my way back home from Malmö. Glad it's with higher spirit than 10 years ago. Uh, what do you mean you're going back home from Malmö? Do you live in Sweden or are you going back to another country? So tell us, man. Tell us, Rollface. How was it in Malmö? We're very much looking forward to hear your experience. Must have been something, nice away day, the team winning. A second straight win in the Europa League. First away win in Europe this season. First in 11 games. First away game. First away win in 11 attempts, if I'm not mistaken. Uh, no, that's not right because we beat Aston Villa. First away win in 11 attempts in the Europa League. I think this was for Olympiacos, if I'm not mistaken. Do correct me if I'm wrong, because like I said, guys, like it has been a very very long day and night. George Botsis, 1 o'clock in Geneva. My days has been all over the place. I just got confused. Glad we won today. Well, I don't know if you got the chance to meet Labros when he was living in Geneva. Kostas Levoyan is not far off. He lives in Brussels right now. So I'm planning a little trip around Europe. I want to do some interrailing. So I would like to get to know a lot of you guys when I do this. Like, let's organize this. Rollface, I live in Gothenburg. Oh, wow, Jesus. I was very worried there, Rollface. I was afraid you had to go to another country. I was absolutely packed in the away stand, arguably a bit too packed even, but great atmosphere. Man, Olympiacos keeps growing. Guys, if you haven't done so, like and subscribe. Let's keep spreading the word because Olympiacos is everywhere. We are being watched by 100 different countries at least. Actually, it's more than that. I've lost count now. And we're being watched by every continent in the world, bar Antarctica. So let's keep growing. Let's keep growing, guys. So let's address what happened today. Like I said, guys, I had a very long day. In case I haven't mentioned it, and I really, really, really needed a win tonight in Olympiacos. They shoot, they score. Ayub El Kabi with the winner, nice and early in the first half. I would dare say, in the half-hour mark, after a fantastic assist by Zelson Martins, who. Let's have that debate, guys. I feel like Zelson had his best ever match with an Olympiacos jersey. Like that was his absolute best performance with Olympiacos. This not only this season, but since he joined us last January. Not even 12 months with the team. Expertly dribbling past two Malmö players down our own half and making it down the other half, releasing El Kabi with a stunning through ball, and El Kabi just making it look easy there, really. Uh, of course, like a lot has been said about the transfers, about the summer transfer business. And of course, we accept all sorts of opinions, but consider this, guys. Imagine if El Kabi wasn't with Olympiacos right now. Like, it was a coup keeping El Kabi. El Kabi, I cannot see him staying at Olympiacos beyond this summer. Like, he's going to go somewhere else. The guy cannot stop scoring. 3 goals in 2 Europa League matches after his brace against Braga. I was there. I was covering the game. If you haven't done so already, please do check the live commentary and the live blog and the vlog from Karaiskaki. I got to say, guys, if I can just have a bit of a moment here. First off, I'm going to take a beer out because I can. I really needed a win tonight. I had a really rough day. Like, I'm proud of what I did. I'm proud that I lasted for 16 hours today, but it was really, really tough. And Olympiacos, like, they have a way of, lifting my spirits. And if it wasn't for Olympiacos winning tonight, I don't think I'd probably even be doing the show. So I got to say, guys, I really love this club. I really love this podcast. I really love my co-hosts. And I really love you guys. I really love every single one of you. I know we don't always hit a home run, but you're always there to support us. And, without you, this whole thing doesn't exist. And I'm going to be at Tottenham now soon for the awards. Do I think we're going to win? Probably not, if I'm being honest. We're up against some very serious competition, against people whose job is running their respective podcasts. This is not our job. We do this on our downtime, as you can probably guess. We're all working different jobs. But you know what, guys? I'm very proud of what we did. And the only reason it happened is because of you. Son G joining us. Thank you for joining us, son. Costinha, what a player, better than Omar. Costinha is an absolute chapter of a player for Olympiacos. Is an absolute someone for the future there. I do believe that if we don't drop the ball with him, if he remains serious, we saw what he did last season with Rio Ave. He finished in the best starting 11 in the Primera Liga. He is an absolute gem, an absolute talent that could end up being something very special for this team. We do need to get a winger as well in January, unless Christopher Velde starts shitting goals and assists. But I cannot see Rodine going back at right back. He's very good on the right wing up front, but Olympiacos needs someone with more explosiveness, like someone like Zelson on the other side, someone like Podence. Well, couldn't help myself, could I? I can't see Rodine going back at right back, even though he's a fantastic player and even greater character, and he's our captain, and deservedly so. When Thrylos is not the captain, I mean, vice captain, third captain, because there's also Yorgos Masouras, who is actually the first captain, if I'm not mistaken. But he doesn't play as a starter often. Costinha, absolute gem, and definitely someone to keep an eye on for the future. I believe George is talking about Zelson here. I believe he played very well. Great assist. Well, it's obviously Zelson. I can't lie. Zelson had me frustrated every time he would shoot instead of passing. He hit the bar though. He hit the bar though with a fantastic shot. Could have been 2-0. And more importance, I hope tomorrow is better for you, and we love you too. Oh, it's going to be better. Yeah, and thanks for all the love, George. I mean, it's my pleasure being on this show, guys. I mean, I'm doing it with a smile on my face. And at the end of the day, alcohol always works. Here's to you guys. Whatever it is you're doing, I do hope you're having a beverage with me, whether it's a soft drink, whether it's a bit of the bubbly, whether it's beer, wine. You know what? Let me know in the comments section. What's your favorite drink? Because I love beer. I'm very much a lager person. But I also love Prosecco. Like, I love Prosecco. I could drink Prosecco all day, all night. I also love white wine, and I'm a huge sweet cocktail kind of guy. Let me know in the comment section what your favorite drink is. Beer Alpha, nice job. You know it, son. Represent. Kostas Levoyanis once told me off because Alpha is green. Well, he does have a point, but you know what? So Ben again, Costinha and Thrylos were brilliant tonight. Thrylos is brilliant in general, man. I mean, there's another gem from the Olympiacos Academy that grew up to become one of our best players. We had Kostas Karapapas in this podcast, giving us a story of how Bayer Leverkusen approached Thrylos to sign him. And it was Rudi Völler, the Germany legend, the former Germany manager who led Germany to the World Cup final in 2002, who represented Bayer in restaurant in Piraeus. Not Piraeus. It was in Glyfada or Vouliagmeni, around that area. And when Thrylos showed up and only found representatives of Bayer Leverkusen, he asked, "Where's Olympiacos?" They said Olympiacos is not coming. Thrylos left. That was their first meeting. He left because Olympiacos weren't there. A great player and even greater character. No more Chiquinho on 10 and Rodine as a winger. Well, okay, that's interesting, Alex. So, okay, I agree with the whole Rodine thing. But what do you think about Chiquinho? What do you think about the Chiquinho argument there? Because he hasn't been half bad at number 10, and we did miss him in those matches that he missed from his injury against Braga. Thrylos is MVP of the season, one of the best center back of Europa. Well, early doors. I mean, I love the enthusiasm, son, but it's very early doors right now. Kostas Papadimitriou, thanks for joining us, Costa. Was a very good performance. We made some great chances to score at least 3 or 4 goals. Well, we did have that shot from Zelson that hit the bar, and we also had that penalty, guys. Ayub El Kabi with a terrible miss, by the way, terrible miss, absolutely wide that shot. I was very worried there. It's the old cliche, isn't it, Costa and everyone else? And Costa, because you watch a lot of Greek, I know you watch a lot of Greek football, and you listen to the Greek commentators saying, the old cliche, whoever misses chances concedes goals. Well, that's what I was afraid of because, obviously Olympiacos, you think about Levadiakos, they wasted a 2-goal lead, ended up with drawing 2-2 against the worst team in the Super League so far. I mean, they are last in the table. So I was very worried that Malmö could find a way back. We need to be more aggressive in our defensive mentality, more hard in our game. We're looking forward with huge self-confidence. You are absolutely right there, Costa. Another masterclass from Retsos Tuf Tuf Tu. Love a good Bailey's on the rocks, but also Jägermeister. Beer's like water for me. Ha. Well, I'd love to have a drink with you, George, when I come over to Geneva, or when I'm around, the neighboring countries. We should talk. So yeah, guys, this season, why is it that Olympiacos have a bit of a Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde thing going on? Very disappointing in Greece, but in Europe, they do bring it, bar that Lyon game, which is when Olympiacos were still figuring things out. It's great to see, ever since Jose Luis Mendilibar placed faith in youth, Olympiacos have been much better. Christos Mouzakidis, another impressive performance from the youngster. Bakoulas making the bench. Babis Kostoulas was there as well. Papacanelos always with a very good chance of joining all the fun. But you saw us, beating Braga 3-0 rather easily at Karaiskaki, beating Malmö 1-0, two clean sheets in a row as well, guys. Why is it that Olympiacos are much better in Europe than they are in Greece? Well, in my opinion, the answer is very simple, because in Greece, there's no point for the high press, really, unless you're playing the other fellow top 4 or maybe Aris. Well, actually, Aris proved us wrong, even though Olympiacos were still figuring things out. But the high press is useless in Greece because pretty much every Greek team sits back and they're just waiting for a good counterattack. So Olympiacos need to dominate, and they can't do it. They haven't really been able to do it with Jose Luis Mendilibar, and they don't really have the players to do that ever since Kostas Fortounis and Daniel Podens left. But in Europe, the high press works because the opponents, they do push hard for a goal against Olympiacos. They fancy their chances for a goal against Olympiacos. Braga did, and Malmö certainly did, and Lyon did as well, as we saw. And more of our future opponents Rangers will fancy their chances. Twente will fancy their chances. Even Steaua Bucharest will fancy their chances. Karabag will fancy their chances. Like, I can't really see anyone sitting back, whereas everyone in Greece sits back when they're facing the mighty Olympiacos. Olympiacos in the Greek Super League is like Real Madrid, especially when you're not part of the top 4 teams. Asteras, they're going to sit back. Alithea are going to sit back. Panserraikos are going to sit back. Rangers, they're not going to sit back. PAOK are not going to sit back. So that's the reason why. We're such different extremes. But I gotta say, guys, 6 points. Yeah, 6 points. We are 12th in the Europa League table right now, if I'm not mistaken. Very close to the top 8, which is what you need in order to earn automatic promotion to the Europa League's last 16. Yes, Olympiacos are 12 with 6 points and only 1 point away from 8th place, guys. So Olympiacos are making, in my opinion, they're already making a very strong case for the top 8, an even stronger case for the top 24. Of course, 9th till the 24th place leads to the playoffs for a place in the last 16, which basically means that Olympiacos will be in Europe. Will be playing in Europe. Will be playing in European knockout stages for the 14th time in their last 16 attempts, all with a Greek owner and a Greek budget. Gio joining us, another OG there. Kalispera Costa και Kalinykta. Kalinykta in a bit. Kalispera, back to you there, Gio. George, again, the ball punishes, as they say, but thankfully it didn't. I'd say players feel more pressure with the expectation to win the league, whereas in Europe, they are more comfortable to beat the odds. I don't know about that. Well, obviously, if we don't win the league, it's going to be the first time. It's going to be the first time we don't win the league in 3 consecutive seasons since Petri Nachronia, really, since 1996. So it's not going to be a good look. And Olympiacos need to go back to the Champions League. They need to return to the Champions League. They need the money. They need the prestige. They need the how do you call it? Oh, Jesus, excuse me. They need it for the overall table. They need to move a few places up in the world. But I do have a feeling that Jose Luis Mendilibar does probably focus more in Europe, and it shows with our performances. I mean, this is a team that you can't count them out of anything, really. I mean, you can't count them out of, even making it to the quarterfinals of the Europa League this season. You don't know with this manager that we have. I mean, 2-time European winner, European champion. You don't know with this guy. Whereas when it comes to the league, even with La Liga, when he was at Sevilla, in La Liga, he was quite disappointing. So, like I said, Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. Nick Manolas, thank you so much for joining us, Nick. Mendy's ball doesn't function well against teams that pack the bus in Greece. You need Thrylos, and the only Thrylos available right now is Papacanelos. What about Zelson Martins? He was a massive Thrylos tonight. Thrylos means plumber. It means someone who breaks through. Zelson Martins, he was a massive Thrylos. Even Christopher Velde, when he finds his best self, like he did in preseason, he can do it as well. And you know what? Willian, when he gets firing, when he gets rolling, he's gonna be an Thrylos as well. I'm not giving up on Willian. I swear to God, I'm not. Costa, can you tell us some feedback from foreign sites about the victory of Olympiacos and the feedback from Sweden and the point of view from Malmö side about the strength of Olympiacos? Thanks, bro. Well, to be honest with you, I work for English publications, and they didn't really have a lot of eyes on Olympiacos on Malmö versus Olympiacos. I mean, everybody's talking about Mourinho right now because he got sent off again. So it's the usual circus there. Ten Hag, obviously, again, pressure piling because Man United, not only their winless streak extended to 3 matches in a row, but they wasted a lead for the 3rd match in a row in Europe. One of them was against Twente, by the way, which we are going to face. So, gotta be careful there. Even a weak United, I mean, getting a result against a weak United at Old Trafford, that's still a big deal. Swedish sites, I haven't checked it, but it can't be good because you got to remember, guys, I'm going to use the PAOK arguments here. And you know what? Let's not forget another thing. Olympiacos beat a team away that eliminated PAOK from the Champions League, right? If I remember correctly, Malmö scored 4 goals against PAOK at Tuba, yeah. And one of PAOK's excuses was that Malmö was far more well prepared because of their league, because of the fact that they need to play in the summer. Because if they play in winter, they're going to die. So the argument was they were more prepared for us because their league is almost over, and it is almost over. They only need 1 point to be officially crowned Swedish champions, Malmö. And Olympiacos, who are still not ready, like I said, there are so many signings who haven't kicked into gear yet, like Stamenic, like Garcia, like Willian, like Sergio Oliveira, like Christopher Velde. They still won. So it is quite a big deal what we did tonight here, guys. And I have a feeling the Swedish press wasn't too impressed with that, even though Malmö did lose to the Europa Conference League winners, the reigning Europa Conference League holders. But still, I imagine it's not that great. I mean, obviously, Jimmy Durmaz gave an interview. Former Olympiacos player Jimmy Durmaz gave an interview, and he talked about how before joining Olympiacos in 2015, he spoke to Zlatan Ibrahimovic, who visited Karaiskaki with Paris Saint-Germain in 2013 when they beat us 4-1, and he scored. No, he didn't score. He actually missed a penalty. Roberto Jimenez Gago, our legendary goalkeeper, saved the penalty. He did say that Karaiskaki was one of the hottest stadiums he's ever played at. I think he might have called it the hottest stadium actually he ever played at. So that's what they were talking about before the game, about how Karaiskaki was very hot, even though it's so intimidating, even though they didn't play there. But Olympiacos is a team that they're taking very seriously, man. And in England, like, I'm going to tell you a story there, Costa. And for the rest of everyone who's watching us, if you haven't done so already, like and subscribe. So, story time. Back in 2018, I was working for the Daily Express in London. And Olympiacos had finished third after a reprehensible season. Thank God we didn't have playoffs, because if we had playoffs, we would have finished fifth again, guaranteed. The team that finished fifth back in the 2009-2010 season, they would have destroyed the 2017-2018 team. Let's not forget that the 2010 team, they won 4 out of 6 derbies, beat Panathinaikos across both legs, double winners. Panathinaikos had won the double that season, and they made it to the last 16 of the Champions League. So I bet you if we had playoffs in 2018, we would have finished fifth, guaranteed. And we drew Burnley in the Europa League playoffs in the qualifying stage, after Burnley's greatest ever Premier League campaign that saw them beating Manchester City, who were champions then. And there was no Conference League, by the way, back then. So if Burnley eliminated us, that'd be it. Europe is over from August. Obviously, we went on to eliminate them, which was one of our greatest successes in Europe. It's always a great success to eliminate an English club. Anyway, so I go to the office, and one of my editors is a Burnley fan. And he approached me and he said, mate, I did not like our draw. I was like, very funny, very funny. Burnley, the previous season's Premier League revelation, is afraid of the team that finished third in the Greek Super League. It's like, no, mate, no, I didn't want you guys. I was like, very funny, very funny. You're very funny, I kept saying, because the English, English sarcasm, it's very big. And he insisted he wouldn't stop. And, it was this back and forth, like, you're very funny. Yeah, you're afraid of Olympiacos. Yeah, you wanted someone easier. And then the rest of my colleagues that were overhearing this conversation, they joined in and they said, nah, mate, that's actually a really bad draw for Burnley. And they were right. Olympiacos eliminated Burnley. Olympiacos is taken seriously in England, guys. And it's not easy to win over the English fans. It's not easy to earn their respect. They're very cynical, as am I now. So it does take a lot to earn their respect, and Olympiacos have earned their respect, especially after winning the Conference League last season, eliminating Aston Villa in the semifinals, which was a huge success because, like I said, guys, Aston Villa are top of the table, top of the league face in the Champions League right now. They are among the absolute favorites to finish in the top 8. And, Unai Emery is doing such a fantastic job. Ollie Watkins up front, John Duran, Amadou Onana, he wasn't playing there the last season. Of course, Yuri Tielemans, absolutely fantastic team. And Olympiacos eliminated them by beating them twice across both legs, mind you. So Olympiacos is very respected across the board. We could always go to the UCL via winning the Europa League. Behave, George, behave. Too late for that, and I haven't had enough beer. Aris Galamatis, another OG, another Thrylos 7 international OG. Oops, look what I almost did there. A bigger problem is that the ownership has, for 3 summers, did disastrous transfers. In the summer, Mendy and the youth team are saving us. You're not wrong. About that. The last 3 summer transfer windows were disastrous. Of course, guys, I do expect Athanasiou to join us in January. It is a done deal, basically. Athanasiou, the Atromitos left back, will be joining Olympiacos. The question is if it's going to happen in January or the summer. I think it's happening in the January, especially after Ortega, Francisco Ortega got injured, and then his replacement at left back was actually pretty good. Lorenzo Pirola, natural center back, he was very good. He got injured as well and was replaced by Dani Garcia. So it remains to be seen how this is going to go. I mean, we're hearing that Ortega might be out for a month. I cannot understand why Olympiacos didn't bring back Omar Richards from Nottingham Forest. at least on loan. Now he's on loan at Rio Ave. I completely don't understand it because I honestly believe if we had Omar Richards right now, he'd be by far our best left back. He would have benched Ortega. So I guess we're going to play with Apostolopoulos now against who is it that we're playing against? Asteras Tripolis in at the Theodoros Kolokotroni Stadium this Sunday, a game where we cannot afford to waste any more points. I almost forgot about Williams at Benderossia. Well, you're never gonna forget him very soon. Achilles, they killed almost every pigeon around the stadium area. Who did? We got Tim joining us, Tim Cag, and he's making his way in with quite a statement. Olympiacos. Thank you for joining us, Tim. If you haven't done so, please do like and subscribe. Porfiro7, Porfiro, thank you. Porfire, thank you so much for joining us. Hello, Costa, I love your videos. You are a great speaker. What is your opinion about the approach that Mendy choose to play in Europe? In my eyes, we have a lot of space for improvement. What do you think? Well, Porfire, thank you so much for your kind words. I mean, it means the word. It means the world to hear it from such amazing fans. Like I said, the high press works in Europe because every single team that Olympiacos plays against in the Europa League, pretty much all of them, they fancy their chances. They think they can score against Olympiacos because, a Greek club, of course we can score. Steaua Bucharest will fancy their chances. Karabag will fancy their chances. Twente will fancy their chances. They're not going to park the bus like they do in Greece. Like, that's the thing in Greece. When you're facing a non-top 4 team or, not facing Aris, they're just going to park the bus, and Olympiacos cannot dominate teams. And it was said before, Olympiacos don't have the right players to break defenses. That's the problem, which is why it's important for Willian, for a player like Willian to find to regain his best. It's important for players like Christopher Velde to regain their best, to regain their elite levels, because they are the kind of players that break up defenses. Sanji, Zelson Martins is the most underrated player in our history. 2 big games on the road for Braga and Malmö. Well, most underrated player. Who do I think is more underrated than Zelson Martins in Olympiacos' history? Let's see now. Let's see. Kaupers, who absolutely killed it later on with, where did he play? Where did he go? Did he go to Ghent? No. I think he went to Ghent, and he absolutely killed it, Hugo Kaupers. And Pedro Martins wouldn't even look at him. I mean, of course, now Olympiacos are not regretting it because of Ayub El Kabi. And they did have Youssef El Arabi for a very long time. But Kaupers, well, Olympiacos could have made a sweet penny there. They're not really going to make a sweet penny from El Kabi. He is he's in his 30s. So waiting for Aris scouting report on Athanasiou. Well, Alex, we all are. Thank you for your comment, Alex. We all are awaiting the scouting report, and it's it's going to happen. It's going to happen. The question is he coming in January? And I really hope he does. Alex, again, maybe Richards wanted to be a starter and Mendy couldn't guarantee that. I honestly believe Richards would have been a starter at Olympiacos, and he did start quite a few games. He started against Panathinaikos at Leoforos, which is a huge nod right there. He didn't get a lot of opportunities in Europe, but well, at the end of the day, again, I mean, what do you prefer? Do you prefer to play in the Primera Liga, where you're probably going to get relegated, or do you prefer to play in Europe with the reigning Europa Conference League winners, considering that Nottingham Forest didn't have a place for him? 4 assists, his son. Today's assist, one of the best ever. He started before the center. I think he's talking about Zelson. Hilas Beos, I think he means Cholevas is one of the most underrated. Well, I think I can find more than that. I mean, Siopis. I mean, Manolis Siopis. Of course, it's kind of his fault he left. But yeah, I mean, Hugo Kaupers, Svetozar Markovic as well at center back. There's another player Olympiacos could have sold. Yep, Mechelen on 1 and 2 years in Ghent. Now he's in MLS. Yeah, of course, Ari Galamati. Thank you so much for adding into that. Yeah, But anyway, I mean, we got El Kabi. And when you think about Svetozar Markovic, now we got David Carmo. Well, at least for this season. I really cannot see him staying past this season. Nottingham Forest are definitely going to be selling at least Murillo or Milenkovic. I don't think they're going to sell both of them, but one of them is going. So Carmo's going to come in and replace one of them. And Nottingham Forest, what a season they're having. They're starting to dream about European qualification. That's a stretch. I feel like a more realistic goal right now would be the top half of the Premier League table, the top 10. That is, of course, if they manage to also keep, their temper down. Don't let emotions get the most of you, and be careful where and how you cough, I guess. Anywho, back to our own back to Olympiacos affairs. So how are we looking right now? How's Olympiacos looking right now? The next game is against Rangers at Georgios Karaiskakis. That's going to be a tricky game right there. Again, a team that, of course, is going to fancy their chances. They pose as a great threat. Then Olympiacos are traveling to Bucharest for Steaua Bucharest, which I guess now we have to call them FCSB, actually. I think that's what they actually go with. And then it's Twente at Karaiskakis before we visit Porto at Oporto. Remember Porto, they came back and picked up a 3-3 draw against Manchester United. And we finish off against Karabag at Karaiskaki. Looking at all those matches, I can definitely see Olympiacos pushing for at least the top 24. I mean, it would be a huge disappointment if Olympiacos finished outside the top 24 and missed out on any sort of promotion to the next round of the Europa League. If they just said goodbye to Europe in December, that'd be a huge disappointment. But I do feel like a serious Olympiacos can push for the top 8. They really, really can. With that manager, if they don't have any injuries, and if the signings just finally kick into gear, we need to see something. I still haven't lost faith because, guys, again, like of course, there's a lot you can say about the summer transfer the summer transfer window being a failure. But think about this. This is the first we have the least amount of low knees in the team right now for years. It's been years since we had such a small amount of low knees in the team. We managed to hold on to El Kabi. We managed to hold on to David Carmo. We managed to hold on to Yorgos Masouras. And honestly, guys, I do believe in Willie, and I do believe in Christopher Velde. I do believe in Marcos Stamenic. Even Dani Garcia, I mean, he's played so many years in La Liga. Remember Vicente Iborra last season? I mean, how he started. He was dreadful. We all thought he was a donkey. And he turned out being one of our most key players, one of our most influential players. He left and we were practically crying. Some more comments here from Ben. 17 goals in 18 European appearances for El Kabi. He's nearing all-time legend status. Well, I feel like he's already a legend. I mean, won the winning goal in the final, eliminated Aston Villa almost pretty much single-handedly. I mean, all due respect to El Arabi, but I feel like El Kabi is surpassing him in that department. Even Giovanni, huge debate there. George Botches, I can see somewhat realistically getting results in all matches left. I expect losses to Porto, yep, and maybe Rangers. Scottish teams are very tricky, even though we did beat them quite comfortably in recent friendlies. But yeah, absolutely. Obviously, there's a difference between Celtic and Rangers. Celtic are far more consistent, whereas Rangers, they do have a few ups and downs. I do fancy our chances against Rangers. Last time that got me into trouble on Twitter with a bunch of angry Rangers fans. But you know what? This is going to be a good match, and I hope I'm going to be at Karaiskaki. Aris Galamatis, on average, 8 points will be needed for the top 24. You're absolutely right. Who could we get those 8 points against? Okay, let's put our thinking caps on. Olympiacos, they can at least get a draw with Rangers. Okay, I think that a draw with Rangers is absolutely realistic. So that's 1 point. FCSB, we gotta beat them. That's 4 points, and we gotta beat them just to stick it to PAOK as well. And it's always good to stick it to our to our Greek opponents. PAOK couldn't beat the Steaua, so it'd be nice if we could stick it to them. So that's 4 points. Twente, that should be a draw. So 5, at least a draw. That is 5 points. Porto, yeah, I cannot imagine us. That'd be a stretch. Karabag, yeah, we have to beat them, and we do need to avenge the disaster class that we had 2 years ago. So that's 8 points right there. So nail on the head right there, Adi. Absolutely right, man. Fotis Panagotopoulos, Zoulakis, an incredible goalkeeper. Also a coup, managing to hold on to Kostas Zoulakis, who could have left as a free agent and earned a sign-on fee. He had a lot of interest, but he stayed at Olympiacos. Huge coup to hold on to him. If he had left, we would. Well, Alexandros Paschalakis, an incredible goalkeeper, but Zoulakis is a level above because he's younger, he's more confident, and I feel like he's more acrobatic as well. But I do hope and see the possibility, says Yorgos. Yeah, absolutely. Porfiros, David Carmo, and Thrylos are world-class players. They're not world-class, but they are very good. It is a great center-back duo. Obviously, I feel like the greatest center-back duo in Olympiacos history is Avram Papadopoulos and Olof Mellberg. But obviously, David Carmo and Panos Thrylos are up there. Maybe they're second best, They are mixed together extremely well. Rangers has no luck at Karaiskakis. We're going to win 4-0. Well, I can't really rule that out, but we're going to have to learn to score more goals. We're going to have to learn to dominate games as well. We're going to have to see more from our attacking players to get something like that going on. Unlikely. And, Rangers, we cannot underestimate them. Rangers, they got beaten by Carvalho last year. Carvalho? Yeah. He means the midfielder, João Carvalho. Yeah, he scored like a brace. Yeah, that was of course, Aguilera, that was a friendly. That's a different situation. Made 8 points in total, not 8 more points. We need 1 win or 2 draws. 8 points. No, man. Are we talking? Surely you don't mean top 8. It's not going to be enough for top 8. And I don't think it's going to be enough for top 24 as well, if I'm being honest. Adonis Souvalakis, with 3 more wins, we are directly going through to the last 16. I think you're right with that, Adoni. I think you're right. Top 24, Aris explains, yeah, well, still, I don't think so, man. I think we're going to need to do more. I mean, so what, 2 more points? Really? Nah, I don't think so. But we are doing much better than Man United. So, guys, do let me know in the comments section, what do you think would happen if we played Man United? I do believe Man United could pull it off, at least top 24. I think they could pull it off. What do you think would happen if we faced Man United? I believe we could eliminate them. Aris Galamatis appears to be agreeing with me. LOL at Man United. That game at Old Trafford. I did cover those 2 games at Karaiskakis and Old Trafford. I'm still haunted by that Chori Dominguez shot that was saved, and that incredible save by David De Gea. I think we could take them. I think we could absolutely take them. I even think we could take Tottenham. A serious Olympiacos could take Tottenham, but Tottenham are much better than Man United, much more organized, much more consistent. They have a profile, they have an ideology, they have a style, they have a mentality. Joel Campbell masterclass. Only now it'll be Gelson. How did that happen with Joel Campbell? How did that player did not make it big time, like Yaya Touré or Kevin Miralas or Kostas Tsimikas? How did that player not make it? I mean, he did get a few opportunities at Arsenal, but I do believe he was punching above his weight at Arsenal. Tottenham will be very damn hard. You're absolutely right, that is Galamats. But it will be fun. It will be fun if we beat them. So I could get to pull Kostas with a seized leg. That'd be amazing. That'd be incredible. Feed us Man City, suspend De Rossi. Okay, let's calm down right now. Let's calm down. I don't know. Maybe Man City if Kevin De Bruyne and Rodri are not playing, and maybe Erling Haaland not playing as well. No, I'll stop. I've had enough beer. For today. No, absolutely not. Absolutely not. So yeah, I don't know, guys. Is there anything we left out from the game, or do we want to move to final versus Athletic Bilbao at Bilbao against Valverde? Well, Valverde has beaten us in 1 game with Barcelona, and we did snatch a draw against Barcelona. Goalless draw at Karaiskakis against Lionel Messi. The only point we picked up back in the 2017-2018 season in the Champions League. losing both legs to Juventus and Sporting Lisbon as well. It depends. If they have Richarlison, it's over for us as Achilles. It's not just Richarlison. Son Heung-min is incredible. Brennan Johnson, absolute player, absolutely fantastic season, absolutely on fire for both Tottenham and Wales. Dejan Kulusevski, an absolute cog in Ange Postecoglou's engine. Mickey van de Ven, one of the best center backs in the world, the quickest, the fastest center back in the world. Garif Bissouma, Papmatar Sarr, as well as strong midfield there. It would be a very tough game. But you know what, guys? We need to take it one game at a time. And honestly, guys, the only game that matters right now is Asteras Tripolis, because Olympiacos are wasting points, guys, and there's no way we're winning the league in that tempo. Because A, we don't win derbies, and B, we're just not beating the small guys as well. So the Asteras Tripolis game will determine a lot, I believe. I mean, there's no excuse not to earn 9 points in our next 3 games against Galithea, away at Leoforos and Panseraikos as well. There's absolutely no excuse if we don't make that work. And if we don't make that work, there's going to be complaints. There's going to be an emotional and mental toll from that ahead of the Rangers game and PAOK at Tuba. So very important that we win those games. Tottenham have Postecoglou. He's a very good manager. The longer he stays, the better they get. You're absolutely right, Ari. I see Aris this year. What? Winning the league, having a laugh. I would love to see Bakulas giving a chance in midfield against Asteras. Yeah, me too. Why not? A fantastic number 6, very good preseason, a very, very promising player, and a gem for Olympiacos' future. Right, guys, I think I'm going to move to. We're almost an hour. We're almost an hour in. If you haven't done so, please do like and subscribe. Only takes a millisecond to do that. Let's spread the word. So, man of the match and coach's grade. Who do I got? I mean, man of the match. Does anybody disagree? Gelson Martins provided the assist. Absolute one-man show, especially in the first half. In the second half, in general, the team seemed to be. The team was disappointing. They did seem tired, which is inexcusable, really. They did lag, and that did almost lead to a late cold shower, especially after El Kabi missed the penalty. So yeah, that was disappointing towards the end. Everybody seemed to be downing tools, and that could have led to an equalizer, even though Malmö didn't really have a very good chance. But in the next few matches, and we proved it against Levadiakos, 2-0 ahead, and Levadiakos hit back. The worst team in the Greek Super League, so it could happen with anyone, really. So yeah, Gelson Martins is my man of the match. The coach is great. I'll give him an A- because I feel like he should have found a way to lock the 3 points much earlier in the match. He shouldn't have gone to the wire this game. So it's an A- instead of an A or an A+. But still, Jose Luis Mendilibar has so much work ahead of him. He needs to make the signings work, and he needs to find ways to dominate against smaller opposition. Like, I have to be honest with you. The win at Malmö, it doesn't make me feel any more confident ahead of the next 3 games against Asteras Tripolis, Panseraikos, and Galithea, because Olympiacos just cannot dominate against smaller teams, against the teams that sit behind. Last season, they had the players to turn those games around. Like, you would see teams being 2-0 ahead and Olympiacos turning it around. But they can't do it this season because they don't have that quality, or at least the players that have that quality aren't showing it so far. So Mendilibar really needs to work on that. And the next game against Asteras Tripolis in Arcadia, it's going to be very crucial. It's going to show a lot. So let's go through your final comments before I wrap it up over here. Here's George again. For sure, not in the right way for the league, but betting side still has us favorites. We're not the only ones dropping points. Yeah, but we need to stop dropping points. I don't know how long PAOK and Panathinaikos are going to be dropping points. And at the end, it's only derbies this season. It's only the top four. So chances are we're only going to have PAOK, AEK, and Panathinaikos in the playoffs. No Lamia, no Aris, no Volos, none of that nonsense. The way I see the trend with Olympiacos, as long as we're still in Europe, we're not winning the league. We'll see what happens in the playoffs in March, April. Well, like I said, we can't keep dropping points. Thank you, though, Foti, for your wonderful comment. Aris again, Yapao is rolling disaster since Ivan was fired. Yeah, I mean, Panathinaikos fans were chanting Ivan Jovanovic's name. I mean, obviously, you can see how much they're missing him. I mean, fantastic job with Greece. Our first ever win over England, despite being in terrible mental condition after the tragic death of George Baldock. And I do want to take this moment to pay tribute to a fantastic player and an even greater person in George Baldock. It's funny because when Vasilis Torosidis retired from the Greek national team, we didn't have a right back. So when Yurkas Seitaridis retired, it was very smooth because Vasilis Torosidis took over. But then we couldn't find anyone to fill in that role. Haris Mavrias tried, he failed. Thanasis Androutsos tried, he failed. Lazaros Rota tried, he failed. But we suddenly started hearing about this English player in the Premier League who's among Sheffield United's top players and one of the main reasons why Sheffield United were doing so well that season and helped them finish in the top half of the Premier League, their best ever finish in the top half. And he has Greek origins from his grandmother, and he qualifies. And his name, George Baldock. And I remember I was just fuming. Why aren't we getting him? We need him now. And the moment we got him, it was just an immediate improvement. A fantastic player, so passionate and so talented. Always gave 100% for his team. Didn't matter if it was with MK Dons, didn't matter if it was with Sheffield United, Greece, Panathinaikos. He gave it his all. And he gave it his all against us at OAKA in his last ever match for Panathinaikos, even though he had just come back from an injury. He was dealing with quite a few injuries, which is why he wasn't called up by Ivan Jovanovic for the games at Wembley against England and Ireland and the Republic of Ireland at Karaiskaki. I remember I was talking to Gus Poyet, the former Greece manager. We were talking about the France game in Paris where Baldock pocketed Kylian Mbappé, probably the best player in the world. And he told me that Baldock was playing injured that game, that he had hurt his ankle so badly in the previous game in Ireland, against Ireland, that his ankle swollen up like a balloon, and he still played against France, and he pocketed Kylian Mbappé for 104 minutes. An incredible player, an absolute star man who always had time for fans as well. It is a very sad and tragic loss. I want to take this moment to reach out to his family, his fiance and his son, and I wish them all the strength in the world, Rest in peace, buddy. Congratulations to the Greek national team for 2 amazing results. Congratulations to every single player from the Greek national team for showing all this passion and desire to honor their friend and teammate. And of course, Ivan Jovanovic, what an incredible performance, incredible display, incredible masterclass with possession football, with the transitions, with the way he kept the lines together against far superior opponents. Absolute chapeau to Jovanovic, an incredible manager who I believe can do great things with the Greek national team. Last few comments. George Botsis Martins for man of the match. If Ayub scored a brace, he would be it for me. That's a very fair comment. Zelson, Amendi should be make subs earlier, especially when Zelson got exhausted. You're absolutely right there, Achille, as well. Manji is also a very good and underrated manager. Thanks. Okay. For Aris, he's very good. But Ceres, you mean Vazela? Not sure I understand here, Ari. My bad. I confused Panetolikos with Panseraikos. Ivan is a blessing for our national team. Couldn't agree more with you, Ari. A player, a manager that also understands the Greek mentality. So, guys, that's all. That's all for that's all we had tonight. If you haven't done so, please do like and subscribe. And the button is below, just below. Only going to take a millisecond. Support us on Patreon if you haven't done so. The link is below in the description. And yeah, guys, thank you so much for joining me. It was a lot of fun. Long night and day for me, but you know what? Olympiacos always finds a way to cheer me up, and I'm sure it did the same for you. And you also cheered me up because you joined me, because we had a nice conversation, nice debates, nice few ideas being thrown around as well. I've said it before, I'm going to say it again. We have the best audience in the world here at Thrylos 7 International. I am very honored to be interacting with you. Thank you so much for keeping me company late at night here in Greece. It's 3 a.m. right now. I had a blast, and I am going to see you soon. Thank you so much, Ari. Let's hope Mendy will solve the domestic puzzle at Tripoli. Thank you, George. Have a good night. Thanks for doing the stream despite the tough day you had. All the best. Thank you, George. Thank you, Ari. Thank you, everyone, for joining me. And I am going to see you soon.